We'll see what they want to grab with that one. We have also seen an adaptation in the ban strategy, as Ashe will be banned this time by JDG. Still the Jarvan ban there, as Rise and Rumble will be the bans by BLG on that blue side.
I wonder if we are going to see any Karma or Ezreal bans here either. We did talk about it a little bit before game number 1, but Ezreal Karma has been another one of those really big bot lane combos, Mazel, that teams have taken notice of and really put high priority on. So doesn't seem like we have any of those just yet, though BLG still have a ban to spare. And for JDG, the ban's a lot more spread out this time around.
Yeah, definitely. Get that Galio ban in there as well. There will be the Vi ban from BLG. They know that JunJia does love that champion for setup with HongQ and trying to play those kinds of duos with the jungle mid synergies. Karma was banned away last game by BLG. Still open. First pick available for JDG. See if they want to lock it in.
And if they do decide to go for the Karma here, I think the natural assumption for the side of BLG would to be steal away that Ezreal. But Ezreal, besides the Karma, I think another good pairing that he has is with the Nico and the Bard. And those two are fearless away. So I do think that Ezreal's pairings are a little bit wearing thin here. And that's why they're going to go for just a Tahm Kench slam immediately. A curveball coming in here from On, and the smiles and laughs from BLG after that lock-in.
They are having
Did they mispick?
ball.
The draft disappeared.
No way. Oh,
Did they mess up?
I think they did. But why not?
No!
Bring in the Tahm Kench. I want to see it.
I want to see
That
it
would have
too.
been such a weird combination. It is something that On loves to play. When it was viable, he was playing it a ton, but I'm going to guess that was the issue. I don't know if... I don't know. I feel like Tahm Kench
You're
doesn't
allowed
do
to
too well
redo
into
the
Karma.
draft when you made a mistake. We
Could be
had
LCS.
we had impact in the LCS play Aatrox with Guardian. Like,
yeah, we did.
Where is our competitive integrity, LPL? Like, what is this?
Well, so that was, I feel like maybe a little bit different. Wasn't that like an actual mistake where this could be like a client lock-in issue? Because we've had that a lot in LPL where like the client like doesn't save what you wanted to lock in and locks in what you had before, which you would think maybe that means you just shouldn't hover things. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully getting back into this one very quickly.
The best part was that was just like instantly slammed. Like they were going to
I was so ready
go for a
man.
lock-in, and then it's Tahm Kench of all things. And then they just immediately exit the draft. So, yeah, it's a draft mistake. It looks like it doesn't look like it is going to be the Tahm Kench. But I guess, Mazel, while we are waiting for the draft to fire back up however long that is, what do we think is actually going to be the pairing with that Ezreal? Because we talked about the lack of available supports for him. This is really
I got your
Slayer
answer.
can maybe help us out. What do you got for me?
I got your answer. You ready for it?
I am.
Anything that leaves Viper by himself. Because that's the state of ADCs right now. Easy.
Yup.
Lock in with a duo. You don't see that duo for 15 minutes. All good. It's fine. I'm not personally letting out my grievances. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not.
Handshake. Here we go.
Yeah. I definitely didn't want some companionship in the bot lane. I wanted to do 1v1s. That's what,
All right.
We'll see. We'll see what they end up getting.
All
It's going to be the Pantheon. I said it before game number 1. Give Shun his Pantheon. I think it's a problem. He is going to get it. We'll see if it becomes a problem for JDG.
Yup. And
they banned the Jarvan instead. That's so interesting.
Yeah, Jarvan also just generally, I think, has like a lot better pairings with other champions. Like the Rumble, even though it is banned, like there are just so many good pairings with the Jarvan. Like that Cataclysm can create so many hot pot combos. So we do see the Nocturne come in here as the counter pick. Nocturne definitely better in the dueling area compared to the Pantheon, so I do wonder if JunJia maybe pre-6 is going to look for any kind of cheeky invades against Shin, maybe use some of his own spells against him, if you will, pre-6. But here with the Karma paired up with the Caitlyn, it does mean that push is going to be pretty plentiful for JDG. This is a very long-range bot lane, and I'm wondering how BLG will respond. I mean, Seraphine is still up, isn't the greatest pairing with the Ezreal, but if your goal is to match poke for poke, I do think that is definitely an option BLG could look to invest in, but it looks like they are going to leave that support, rain check that support pick for now, and instead give Bin the Gnar. I would imagine that a lot of the counter picks here are probably going to center around things potentially like the Aurora, I know is pretty good into the Gnar, and just trying to match any ranged champion with range of their own.
Gnar jungle Pantheon support. It's not going to happen, but you know, it'd be hilarious. I know we've been, we've been talking a little bit about Gnar's rise in prio as well. Even had the Tatu tweet talking about it. It's spreading, but in the end, I think the Caitlyn here is really interesting, but it definitely signals JDG want to try to win back that early game that had so often been their namesake against BLG. In the second phase that we do get the Vayne ban here, seen a little bit prio on Vayne recently, as we'll see what the
Gnar counter
JDG side wants to ban away.
Any ranged champion is pretty decent into the Gnar, because not only does it allow you to deal with him in range form, but when he goes into melee form, you just have a field day. Like, I don't believe Mega Gnar gives you a ton of extra resistances. It only really gives you, like, I believe 300 health flat. So if you're able to play like ranged champions and dance around Mega a little bit, you can actually get a health advantage once he goes back into mini Gnar. So a lot of ranged top laners have been kind of the go-to answer for Gnar lately, and he's already going to have maybe a bit of a difficult time just given how much poke there is from the rest of JDG and what they have drafted up here so far.
And the Kennen going to be taken away from Xiaoxu, one last gasp effort. The Mel also a ban here towards BLG as they try to take that one away from Knight. Terrifying champion in all rights and regards. We'll see what they want to say for counter pick though, as BLG are on the clock.
They probably go for support here, given that mid has not been shown by JDG, and if you want to give Knight a good matchup, I think that is the answer. But yeah, Aurora is a champion that we talked about as maybe being a good counter to Gnar. This would be a good denial if Knight wanted to lock this in. Again, you wouldn't get the counter pick, but you would be stealing away a counter pick and giving Bin an easier time in that lane. So I actually like this, to be honest, here from JDG. They don't have a lot of great answers left for the Gnar. I feel like the only decent one left is like the Jax or maybe the like Cassante if you just wanted to try and turtle the lane.
Now this has been a combo that JDG has really liked, even in split number 1, is the Nocturne TF combination, so you can get the follow through with the yellow card. Love to see them going back to some comfort for themselves there, and so much engage right now for JDG. They really want to hammer home that is the facet they're playing around.
Yeah, and this has to be something that they do, like, once you immediately get level 6 as HongQ and JunJia, move around the map. Like, that is your #1 objective. Yorick going to be the lock in here, and then the Shen to round it off. We were saying maybe there would be picks that could match this Caitlyn Karma in the poke roll, but On is just going to tank it like the Giga Chad he is, and hey, maybe if we see what we saw from him in game number 1, he's not going to be in the lane to actually tank it at all. He'll just be moving around and playing River Shen. Yup.
Yeah. And the answer to any Nocturne engage is going to be so huge. I'm so sorry I interrupted, but I got distracted by that weird doll, that like mini mannequin that was just flopping its arms around. Disgusting. Anyways, it definitely looks like a BLG comp that feels pretty stalwart, where JDG, their bar of execution is pretty high with this one.
Yeah, I feel like it's really going to be the onus is on JunJia and HongQ. Like I just said, once you get that Destiny, once you get that Paranoia, just go around the map as much as possible. I think that this has been a pretty big strategy with champions like Ryze as well, where once you get that Realm Warp, just immediately try and influence the map. So if we can see HongQ have that influence in the early to mid game to snowball the JDG comp later on, we can get maybe the Fable Game 3, Mazel. We want to see it, and JDG, it's up to them to get us there.
It would be the first one of the split, as we had all 2 zeros on our first opening day, the Super Day with 3 series. We're hoping that this one lives up to its potential. It's a tough one for JDG to come back from that game number 1, though, and to come back from the slog of games they've had against BLG that have not gone their way. But now is the time, opening up the split for both these teams. It's BLG versus JDG game 2. Jesus.
Holy moly.
Shout out to the Jingdong guy. You're a trooper out there, man. You're doing everybody's heart well. I thought like maybe the energy had fallen down, but my God.
Nope. It only got stronger with the game 1 win, and it's like those memes where people would be like, what sound does your gun make? And JDG, I feel like, are at like the pew 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 level, and then BLG, they're at the level.
Yeah.
Just
I like that analysis. Yeah.
Bass to it right now, right? Yeah.
Can we clip that? And I would like to add that to the soundboard. That's exactly how it feels, though. BLG have obviously gained a lot of fandom from their international win. First time in 3 years, by the way, for the LPL. And JDG, the energy has definitely fallen off after a tough game number 1. But we look at the map states here. It is going to be the opposite side pathing for both junglers this time around. A little bit more prio for JDG this time around as well. And I think those first paths might be important here, especially seeing who wants to get involved earlier on, even though we're kind of waiting on that level 6 for JunJia.
Yeah, I don't expect a lot of action to befell the Rift pre-level 6. I think we'll probably just be seeing relatively calm early games from both JunJia and Xun, because as we've mentioned multiple times, that level 6 really is going to be the marker that we're looking at for these two champions to make their impact on the map. Knowing JunJia with the Paranoia, and then Xun with that Grand Starfall. And not to mention, we said HongQ with the Destiny, but On's also got his ultimate as well. Like, we have 4 global ultimates in this game, 2 to initiate the fight, and then 2 to basically respond and react to said initiation. So I think until then, it's probably going to be a relatively cordial map, which might give some openings over to JDG with the poke lane here of the Caitlyn Karma to get maybe a leg up in the gold department over BLG.
Really trying to manifest HongQ reenacting some of those solo kill moments against Knight here for JDG. Don't know if it's quite going to happen, but if you're a JDG fan, you're hoping. As we do get to see the Karma finally come through. I know they highlighted that with a little bit of a change in 26-7. But still a very oppressive champion when you're looking at the poke-centric bot lane that they have.
Yeah, they're just constantly keeping Viper and On under their tower. Luckily, though, we see that Xun has completed his first recall. Viper is going to get his back there canceled. We'll see if maybe Xun can make an impact known on the bot side, but there is that ward in the Tribush, so probably not. Bing goes in.
Oh, I think he auto-attacked.
Yep,
he's looking for another one there.
He's looking anyway, though.
One more stack. Not going to be enough. He doesn't have the speed. We'll have to turn around onto the ghouls, the cat ghouls, as there was a redeploy coming out from JunJia up towards the top side, but obviously can't really affect that team too much. As HongQ going to get a nice push in mid lane. Should get a turret plate off this as well.
You can see that, like you said, JunJia not really cutting his pathing, because not only is it not a guarantee that you're going to actually be able to do anything against the Gnar, but also just really keeping up with your priority and your conditions. Trying to get that level 6 is really the name of the game here, so you can't really be worrying about the lanes until you have that ultimate unlocked. I say that, and immediately he pivots over to maybe get a wraparound in the top lane with the pushing wave.
He didn't get to eat much in game number 1, Quax. He's a hungry boy. Looking for a little bit of an invade gank. He's going to decide that it is not the time and go for a quick back ahead of this dragon spawning on the bot side of the map. Don't think either team is really in position to be getting that one. And I get a time to glaze my favorite jungler. As 300 victories in the LPL. Number 33 there right now by Xun. And still a long career to come, I hope.
As if the glaze for this player on this broadcast couldn't be any more plentiful. Hey, he's got 300
I'm living
wins.
in my T Swift era, baby. I'm loving it here. I like this is the play. There's so many years that people doubted this guy, that people trashed this guy. I'm looking at you, Miracu, and now all these years later, we get so much coming from him. I'm gonna stop glazing him, but you know, that's my boy. That's my boy.
we can see that Shun taking a little bit longer to go for that reset. Does end up on the top side, and JunJia managed to finish his second full clear on bot where the crab is spawned. So this will actually give the Nocturne level 6. He's got Prio in bot lane, so I wonder if JunJia just decides, hey, I've got upgraded Smite, I've got level 6, I've got Prio, all of these tools, let me just go for the Dragon.
See if the Maiden goes down to bin there, but yeah, Dragon is already going. Still pretty healthy earlier on. Vampire's going to rebuff on from moving in. Dragon down to about 1,400. Chun not going to round the corner here, and Dragon will go over to JDG. So righting the wrongs of game number 1, they go for the early objective here to deny any stacking from BLG, and now they'll be set up for that grubby tubby play on the other side in about a minute and a half.
See, that control ward was placed by JunJia, but that's not really going to matter in like 10 to 15 seconds time here. If Shun gets an angle to look onto mid, he's not going to be crossing over that ward. He's going to be falling from the sky, and that ward's not going to be able to spot that. The map is going to spot that as a whole, so that just kind of goes to show how we were highlighting the importance of vision in game number 1 and how proactive BLG were with it in that first match, and how it was so instrumental for them to get that game 1 victory. This game, though, vision doesn't really have as much importance, in my opinion, because of how many globals there are in this game and just how much they'll be affecting these future fights, which in a minute could go down with those grubs coming up.
I gotta say, a little positive thing. I think that the pressure that BLG has been facing on bot side, especially from this kind of poke-centric bot lane, has kept on a little bit more tightly bound to that bot side of the map. Obviously, when level 6 comes, that's going to change things, but that is a stark contrast to that game number 1. And see if the JDG's plans come to a potential here, as we'll be getting resets from both sides. Level 6s are up and available for both junglers. We'll be waiting for the moment that they want to kick that off here with 20 seconds until the grub spawn.
And both waves cleared out by bot lane. Everyone's going for their resets, and both supports are probably just going to redeploy onto the top side. We can see that Vampire is already moving. On is actually electing to stay on the map, so I think his mentality is, hey, I soak up this wave, I can get level 6, and I'll be able to join up in a fight anyway. So I actually like this move from the Shen, just to try and get that surprise with the Stand United.
He doesn't get it, though. We'll see. That's the paranoia popped on top side. That's a really nice flash coming out from Bin, but unfortunately it's the entire brigade that's coming. There's that Stand United, but it was way too little, as Shun will have to flash away. Bin tried his darndest, but it was not enough. Now Knight's going to get flashed on by HongQ. He goes between worlds, but the between worlds is just enough to get him out. That's going to be BLG taken away from the objective, and full neutral objective dominance from JDG.
Bin may have been able to survive so much punish in game number 1 to stall out for his team to respond, but not in game number 2. All of those ultimates are for naught, and JDG get the jump on the Gnar, get the grubs, and this is going to be so good for the Yorick specifically. Xiaoxu we're looking at to be this big side lane menace, and he'll be able to utilize those grubs really effectively, as well as HongQ, who will be on the sides having that ultimate available. And yeah, the damage is just too much. Bin's not able to survive. Knight is in the middle of so many JDG members, so he's forced to exfiltrate. Almost doesn't get out, but manages to save himself at the last moment.
Little things, I mean, really well-timed gank there from JDG right as the mini Gnar came up, so he had no way of getting out. We will see BLG back on the map, though. They still need to try to be proactive with this Pantheon jungle. I want to let JunJia and JDG off scot-free. Still a pretty decent lead for them early on, only a little south of 2K. At the sub 10-minute mark, but we might just go for a 50-50. It's going to be Shun that gets the better of it. So Smite fights 1 so far equals 2 for BLG's jungler.
Yup. Q Smite, it's kind of cheating a little bit, but hey, you'll take what you can get, and there definitely hasn't been any Shun slander on this broadcast so far, so we're not about to start now. Still, though, we are looking at the gold, and already I'm looking at that mid lane Mazel.
Yeah,
it is looking very scary. HongQ getting that 1 kill, that first blood on the Twisted Fate, and then combine that with just the passive gold that he gets as TF. This man is printing money. We were talking about BLG being the guys who were getting Monopoly money the entire game one, just being able to spin straw into gold. Well, guess what? HongQ managed to master that art on the Twisted Fate, it seems.
And he's on the spellbook, so he has a lot of utility here, but he's also already been stacking up the Rod of Ages for multiple minutes now, so he is going to be very strong as time comes around. And especially with those ultimates, he's a key figure on how JDG want to find engages or follow-ups. So something to kind of keep an eye out there is, you got to remember, JDG were no slouches in split number one. They were able to make it to first stand. They were able to, at least in a few series, bring BLG to the brink. Not finals, but still a very, very strong team. And wanting to try to kick off this split in a strong position here. At least bring us to 3 games. As we will be seeing positioning around the Dragon coming up soon, Quax.
They're looking pretty strong in position to maybe get us there. I mean, the first 10 or so minutes of the game have looked very good for JDG. Certainly better than what we saw in game number 1, as JunJia does start up the Dragon with that priority in mid. The reset from Knight is coming through. He does have teleport. I wonder...
He's TPing deep.
Oh, look at that deep ward that was placed earlier.
There's double TPs coming in. Ben's going to come as well. They already got everybody joining. It's going to be the Paranoia used on tonight. He will be feared away as well. That just means that JDG lose prio over the Dragon, will give over that neutral objective.
But it's a really costly one at that. We mentioned the Grubs going over to Xiaoxu earlier, and he's going to get so many plates. They all have to cross over by themselves. No teleports are available on. Takes a little bit of damage, but he'll just be able to shadow dash away. And yeah, meanwhile, you're getting the Dragon, but so much gold is going over to that York. Now the difference is equalized between the 2 top laners. And when this was a counter matchup for Xiaoxu, you have to believe he is going to try and really push this gold lead forward as much as he possibly can.
Yeah, I mean, he needs to. Hey, there were some great accolades given to this guy. 3rd team All-Pro for JDG last split. The only holdover coming into 2026 for this team from their previous experiment. Shun was a part of that as well. As Bin's going to find himself a little bit of help from On. They're going to go for the play here.
Oh my God.
Shun has also joined. It's a side lane shenaniganery here by BLG, but they won't be able to get much but his flash. And they're going to lose a lot on the bot side because of it.
It just happened again. I mean, BLG overload on a side. JDG look for a cross map. They absorb plates, and they get the first tower. Gala gets a ton of gold off of that, and now Viper is completely alone on this bot side, but Knight is here to try and help.
Dude, he does so much damage already. He's got the Essence Flux on there. He's going to go for the flash play. Gala going to flash away himself. There's going to be the weirding to slow down Vampire if that Mystic Shot hit. Maybe the follow-through is there. On was on his way as well, but that won't be much given back. Still a 3,000 gold lead for JDG early into this game.
JunJia may be looking for a play onto the top side, but those steel caps are meaning that Bin is just too damn tanky. Combined with the flash, there's no way you're ever killing that Gnar at this point in the game. I think JDG just really need to try and hold on to control around this top side. Herald is going to be up in about a minute, and again, I feel like the objectives have really been the name of the game when it comes to every match in series with these 2 teams in them.
Oh, he's kind of getting wrecked by HongQ there. Flash from JunJia is going to get the step away from BLG. Bin's going to try to follow him. The flash play from Jun, and Jun executes JunJia where he stands. Spear through the heart and spear through JDG.
That was a bloodthirsty flash from Bin. I was thinking that it might have been a little too bloodthirsty, but Shun is there to follow, and JunJia goes down. Now all of BLG are just circling the Yorick like sharks, Mazel.
It's not long for this world. He will have some respectful re-engage potential with HongQ. That's going to be the insta-flash from HongQ away from the TP. He's going to get the yellow card on, but On dashes out. Xiaoxu is down to Knight, but HongQ and Vampire is still here, still tussling. Yellow card comes through. He's going to try to get Shun. Shun's going to go low, but not going to go down. The cards are not enough, and BLG scrape by yet again.
Yup, they managed to get a successful dive. Xiaoxu gets taken down. Now the trick is getting to those resets. You can see that HongQ is stepping up to maybe try and interrupt some of those, but they have to redeploy. Herald has been spawned. They have a temporary advantage as far as push goes. You can see that they shove the wave in top. They have pressure on that side of the map. They can try and use that to redeploy around this Herald. They get this Herald. They're able to kind of put that into pressure around the Dragon. It's a domino effect that they're trying to create off of that kill, and the respawn, they actually don't go to the top side. They're going straight bot lane.
Oh, HongQ. Okay, there's the yellow card. Really nicely played there from HongQ. Almost gets Knight back with the turret shots, but very, very close standard here in this outer lane, which is a very dangerous place to be for both teams, honestly, with those globals we had talked about earlier. We do have a little bit of a lane situation here, at least lane swaps going through with the mid lane reassigned, as well as getting closer and closer to those item completions, as we do have first item completed for nearly everyone. But that standard of about a 2.7k lead is still spread on JDG's side, mainly through HongQ and Gala.
Almost exclusively from HongQ and Gala, as Dragon up in about 45. No one paying attention to the Rift Herald. Really interesting with BLG on why they didn't do that, because usually a lot of people like to use Herald as a bridge to draw pressure for the next Dragon, and I feel like when this game is so heavily dictated by who have those global ultimates and who is able to be first to the play, Herald is a really hot commodity in this game.
Oh, here comes the play on a HongQ.
No
flash. They're going to target the global here. They're going to get the stun onto him. The weirding is enough to slow him down, but the damage not enough. But on flashes with the shadow dash, and Shun will get another kill delivered straight to his pocket. There was the deadly combination ready to go for JDG with the ace in the hole for mid lane and the Destiny plus Paranoia, but they weren't able to get a play early enough, and BLG strike faster.
That's just hater energy from On. That flash was not necessary, but he went for it anyway.
Paranoia pop with the Stand United. On rejoins the fight. The Rift Herald will go to BLG, and they have wrestled control of the map in a map that seemed so whole-handedly JDG's strength. It now starts to falter a little bit. Mid lane turret will fall. A little bit extra gold to JDG.
They're not really going to be able to trade that one back. You can see there's still 4 plates up on that mid lane turret for JDG, so it's plenty healthy. BLG aren't going to be able to contest this Dragon. They're going to have to give it over, and they're just going to do what they do best. They're going to do the strategy that has given them so many wins, that has given them a first stand title. When in doubt, overload a side lane.
And easily done with the combinations that they have, especially with on his, at this point, starting to become signature Shen, but Shun specifically on his Pantheon. Given over to him after 5 jungle bans in game number 1. JDG left it open and now might be paying the price for it. The decisiveness that you get from this pick across all of our LPL junglers is just so powerful, and we are hitting those second item spikes. Yes, HongQ was very ahead of his, but we're starting to get everybody else's as well as BLG's.
Viper is getting also really close to that Muramana completion, and 2 item spike for Ezreal is really the doomsday clock hitting 12, I feel. Because
what's the scaling like here, Quax? How are we feeling?
I think the scaling is okay.
He was a little bold for this one. HongQ just went into the back line here by himself, and we'll just get jumped on by Shun. HongQ making a critical mistake here at the cusp of JDG having control, and that just means that lead chunked down yet again.
They've got Herald. They're going to charge straight into the bot lane. All of JDG are split, and BLG are without fear, Mazel.
Oh, JunJia's just going to try to buy time. Grand Starfall comes in. JunJia will just sacrifice his life. Meanwhile, under turret, Xiaoxu's trying his darndest, but it's the turret that's getting low. He's going to get the engage right onto him. Vampire is here. On gets flashed on by Xiaoxu. Xiaoxu will get the kill back, but Bin goes in with a Mega Gnar ult. Knight is right there, too. True Shot Barrage across. They are taking artillery fire from every direction, and now Sun back in with the flash play. He's going to look for cleanup kills. He gets 1 execute there onto Vampire, and BLG will go back as they do. They take the lead for the first time in the game.
And Shun is just kicking the JDG members down a well. Like you said, it's the gold lead finally in control for them, and off of a crucial mistake from the man that has given them so many good opportunities. HongQ overextends himself, ults into the wrong spot. He's got no one around. And from there, all of JDG are split, and BLG pick them off one by one by one.
And I understand what JunJia's trying to do here, but the Rift Herald makes this play kind of all for naught there, is that they already have the might they have that extra tankiness under the turret, and unfortunately pays the ultimate price there. And yes, On goes down, but this combination here, they were just throwing everything in the kitchen sink at JDG.
They really were. They wanted to get as many kills as humanly possible. Just try and extend that gold lead too, because now I think Viper will have enough to get that Muramana. Shun already has his 2 items as we go back to live.
Another defensive paranoia as they are getting surrounded. Destiny has been pumped. He's going to go for On. He is in his reprieve there. He does not get out though. HongQ does end up taking him down. BLG will escape for now. There's not another objective for a little while, and JDG really just trying to hunt in these in-between moments as Blue will go over to BLG. Shouldn't smoke that one away. Knight going for a little bit of a combo. Yellow card is available for HongQ. Viper does not get away fast enough. Does take a little bit of damage on the back end of that one. Saving his flash for now. Knight gets flashed on. My God. This is exactly what JDG wants, though.
Whoa,
as now
where are we going?
Comes in. He does buy his team so much space with that ultimate. We'll call it a zoning ultimate, but now he might just be a dead Pantheon. He's going to try to block as much damage here, but a big shutdown is coming towards Xiaoxu.
Baron is up now. I mean, Jungler is dead for 40 seconds, but JDG, it doesn't look like they're going to be gravitating toward that objective. Instead, setting up for the Dragon coming up in a little less than a minute here. It will be soul point for them. And honestly, I think probably the safer play of the two to just kind of throw down some wards around this bot side. You can also see that the empowered scuttle crabs have spawned, so it just gives you that extra little bit of knowledge as to where some enemy wards could be as well. So yeah, JDG, I think, playing a much more clinical game. Definitely not mistake-free. I'm looking at HongQ with that very misaligned Destiny placement earlier.
They got the lead back, you know?
Yeah, they did.
It's
right, and that's what matters. And now we've got Soul Point. If they're able to claim control of this bot side river and get this objective, it'll put them in a really good spot to continue that scaling and have that win con be alive and well for them. But BLG...
You still worry.
Despite losing a member, they're the guys that actually have control of the river somehow.
Yeah, they do. I mean, Shun will be over here doing the dragon as JunJia takes the engage here. Knight getting very, very low. On's just going to die here outright. He does flash.
They got the Drake.
Dragon goes their way, though. Now On going to try to get his shadow dash through the wall here to get away. Knight doesn't die to the ace in the hole. You still have Shun in the middle of everything. He's about to die again, a second time in a row, and Ben's going to go down too. He doesn't even have Meganar yet. He's getting low. He does finally get the Meganar bar going, but JDG have already taken what they wanted in that kill onto Shun, who now will have fallen twice in a row, even though they lost the dragon. JDG still going to be happy.
Yeah, all they really wanted was the dragon. JDG don't have a bot turret to go for. They don't have a mid turret to go for. They're not healthy enough to go for the Baron, so there really is no possible play that they can make on the cross map. And yeah, teleport coming through. They're going to be hunting for Xiaoxu, but this is a very tanky Yorick.
Oh, he's got the Stand United alongside him. On will get the taunt, and Xiaoxu will just die to On there, by the way, who gets the kill. River Shen always taketh. As BLG chunk back the lead yet again.
We can see the pings are actually going on to the Baron. Maybe off the reset from Viper, they can look to go for that. On popping the Ghost, they really want to go for this mid-turret.
On to Gala. Gala insta-cleanses. That was a Captain Jackson if I've ever seen one, and that's a really nicely timed defensive cleanse from Gala to get him away from that play. They will still lose the turret, so that's a bit unfortunate. But they still get away with their life, which is, I think, okay at the moment. But I want to go back to that conversation we were having, because while there is some scaling opportunities for JDG, it does terrify me once we start getting to these 3, 4, 5 items for BLG's comp.
Yeah, and I feel like the relevancy of the gold lead for Twisted Fate matters less and less as the game goes on, because HongQ hasn't really been able to get a lot of kills in the last few minutes, and Twisted Fate isn't known for his damage. I mean, you mentioned it earlier, Mazel, that the reason HongQ goes to the spellbook is the utility. You're going Twisted Fate for the utility. So when you have a big gold lead like this, it doesn't actually do a lot to push forward your damage numbers. It more so just means you're going to be higher level than the other guys. And I don't think that is going to matter more and more as the game goes on. It's actually going to matter less and less. So I think that BLG Like you said, it's going to be the item advantages and the big breakpoints coming in through their scaling pieces. And also, it just feels like JDG, the pieces that they set up early on in this game, are starting to wear a little bit thin.
Yeah, one piece that I think can still have a lot of impact is Gala on this 3-item spike now completed. Caitlyn, I do think you can have a lot of impact if you space correctly. I think it's going to be hard to come by against this composition by BLG, but we'll keep a little side eye on Gala at this point. That being said, a lot of vision play going on towards this top side, threatening around the Baron pit, but there is Dragon in 2 minutes, which would be soul point for either team that gets it.
Yeah, it would put the other team on a timer to really react around us. Now we get the Paranoia and the
That's
Destiny.
Gonna be used on the Viper, Ace in the hold. Well, this was the combo I was talking about before. They just use all 3 at the same time, and BLG have nothing to do about it. It will be Shun that gives his life for his team yet again. This time falling 3 times in a row to JDG. They're going to try to get Xiaoxu in the side lane. Do a lot of damage with Ben, but won't be nearly enough. But they're playing into the hands of JDG. This is the game plan, stock standard for JDG's composition.
There's no teleport from Knight. There's no teleport from Bin. They can't actually go for a cross-map react. They have to go here onto Xiaoxu.
Xiaoxu gets healed there at the end, at the last second. On will use the standing knight, but it was on to Knight there. The Maiden will end up falling. They're going to try to get the turret here. They should do some good work. There's going to be the Shadow Dash used, but it will be the heal burned by Vampire. Tier 2 goes down for a Baron trade. JDG will take that all day long.
Yep, all 5 members managed to wear purple. JDG with a big proactive play, and that manages to net them the Baron now. And this is kind of something that we haven't really touched on, but I think the team that makes their big global ultimate push first really is going to be the team that probably wins that exchange, because you have point-and-click ultimates from both JunJia and On. If the lights go out, On can't click anybody with his ultimate. You can't save anybody with the big shield. So it's really important that JunJia is finding these angles, because if you find a good target, On isn't going to be able to save them. That person is more than likely just dead. So it really further pushes the need for proactivity here by JDG, and they're going to have to be proactive. Dragon up in about 15 seconds. Baron buff is acquired, so these waves are owned, and the lanes are pushed by JDG.
And we've seen this confidence shift from JDG. It was a moment where Paranoias were coming out defensively time and time again for JunJia, but BLG have been rebuffed and now feel a lot less confident to take these fights. A 5-trap wall here by JDG, but they're still going to make it into the pit. BLG going to try to contest. They're going to try to get in.
Oh God,
but
here we go.
Paranoia. Here comes the Grand Starfall into the back line, but Shun getting low. They've got to take somebody down, or Shun just goes down for nothing. That's going to be the Mega Gnar coming in, but Bin doesn't find much. He finally gets the knockback, but he has no health left. BLG have fully lost this fight, and I said Gala needed to step up. Well, it's a triple kill, maybe even close to a quadra for Gala and JDG.
And JDG get the Baron, they get the waves, and they are first to the map. BLG need to walk into JDG's territory, and they get expelled, kicked out, and game number 3 is looking like it'll be on the horizon, Mazel.
I'm hoping this is the first game 3 of the split. If it is to be so, Respawn's still so far away in a dysfunctional fight for BLG means JDG continue to bolster their lead and find home. JDG, a team that brought BLG to the brink so many times in split number 1, will also bring us to 3 games in their first series of the split, and this time against BLG yet again.
Finally, some good food. Second day of the LPL, our first 3-game series, Mazel, and it is with the reigning champions and the runner-ups. I would have it no other way, my friend.
And, you know, I might have glazed Shun too hard. I think there were some caster curses thrown there. He died 4 times in a row, and JunJia got the better of him. So really nicely done from JDG, but we can poke fun at the end of the game, the way that they lost in the end, but it was JDG setting up their bricks of their house early on. They had such an advantage between HongQ and Gala that they were able to kind of propel that forward.
And I feel like the straw that broke the camel's back, we were getting a little bit worried, you and I, Mazel, when we were saying that the BLG members were just going to continue to scale, and it looked like they were taking a lot more space than JDG. What really, I think, turned the game around was that Paranoia Destiny combo onto Viper. Shun falls trying to save him in the aftermath. On can't save him because lights are turned out. And they get 2 kills for free. That turns into a Baron, and I feel like from there, the Dragon Soul is acquired, and they're able to win the subsequent fights that come along with those objectives. So really good domino effect just kind of happened there for JDG, and they just needed to be proactive. We talked about that being kind of the central theme around their play, where BLG are constantly making these plays, constantly looking to be aggressive, never putting down the damn knife. They're always looking for an opportunity to stab you and go after you. JDG got to be willing to do the same thing, and they definitely were here in game number 2.
I'm just gonna say I'll stop talking about it after this, but Shun gave his life for 2 of his teammates that were like a collective 1-0 and 8 or something like that, where he had like a 400 gold shutdown, and they got Baron off of it. Maybe some mistakes there that BLG can clean up, but I wouldn't have it any other way. Going to 3 games here, and JDG showing us a little bit of life after that game number 1. I think you can obviously look to that combination of JunJia and HongQ, but there was a stark contrast when they turned into kind of an aggressive stance with their ultimates instead of always using them defensively. And it was really, really nice to see that kind of strategic turnaround in game.
Yeah, the contrast was incredibly stark, where like they were using them defensively to react to the snap engages that BLG are constantly looking for. I feel like this is kind of a return to JDG's regular strategy when it came to BLG, the things that kind of netted them those wins initially in the regular season of the winter split. A lot of people think back to these champions that can kind of circumvent the ability to look to transition between lanes. Because BLG are so good at taking space, and because they're so good at owning parts of the jungle like we saw in game number 1, let's just pick champions that don't need to go through the jungle. Let's just pick champions that can teleport there, and boom, we can match them in the team fight. And like that felt like a vintage draft from the JDG that managed to beat down BLG in those first 2 series that they played against one another. And if we can see a similar strategy come forward in game number 3, I don't want to count the chickens before they hatch, Mazel, but JDG could do it. And I think if a win for a series here happened, it would be a really big deal, because as we've said a couple of times already on the broadcast, 2 through 6 in the standings is very muddy and unclear in the order of those teams.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. This is how they kick off their splits, but got to give some props where they're due to both sides, kind of giving it all in this game number 2. We at least had some back and forth where that was nowhere near the case in game number 1. And I will say it's not like BLG didn't have their pick of the litter with the things they wanted, right? They had so many of their cult comforts on their team for this game too, and it was not enough. So you wonder what drafts are going to be looking like for that game number 3 as well.
And hey, I mean, we freaked out a little bit in game number 2's draft with the Tahm Kench. Ended up being a dud, but you know, now that 10 more champions are fearless away, maybe we'll get those freakouts, and they'll actually stick this time. We won't have to.
They won't mistakenly pick a champion that gets us excited. It's fine. It's fine.
Yep.
I don't think Tahm Kench would have saved them here. Not gonna lie.
Probably not. Maybe it would have saved Viper from getting caught
Maybe.
when he wasn't supposed to.
But again, I think this was a situation where JDG just pulled the trigger faster than a lot of members on BLG were expecting. Some of that respect maybe lost a little bit from that game number 1, and JDG taking full advantage of it.
Yeah, JDG, I think, just with the better cross map, the better ability to read the map as a whole. And this really was the play that I think broke open the game. I mean, HongQ and JunJia, they see a moment, they spot a play, and they immediately pull the trigger. I love that they were on the same page for that. No hesitancy. They immediately go onto it. And on top of that, they get the jungler. They burn his Guardian Angel as well. So
why does Bin not ult here? I gotta see. I gotta ask.
He's very far away.
But like he ults the same 2 people he would have ulted in the first place anyways.
I mean, we waited a few years for that ult. I don't think it would have saved them, because like Bin isn't doing a ton of damage.
I just remember seeing that. I was like,
but why did he wait so long?
Was he silenced? Like, was he feared? I don't know. Anyways, that's gonna feel bad. Well, who do you think's got MVP? for this game number 2?
I mean, I feel like I have to give it over to HongQ. I think that he initiated a lot of these fights. Like him and JunJia, I would say are probably the two that should earn the MVP award. But I do think that HongQ did a really good job against Knight in the laning phase, being able to have that utility that we talked about on the Twist of Fate, and there it is, well deserved. And I mean, this goes back to what we were talking about in the pregame, or rather in the pre-show, Mazel, where HongQ has managed to at times get the better of Knight in the laning phase, and with a champion like Twist of Fate, who gets massive gold leads because of his passive, I mean, he's able to make the most of them.
Can go toe-to-toe with one of the best the LPL has to offer. It might not have been a solo kill, but it was an MVP, and I think they'll be happy with that one. But that also means we get to go to our first game 3 of split number 2. I couldn't be more excited. It's BLG versus JDG, the domestic rematch, the international rematch. It's all you could ever want and more. We'll see you for game 3.